A 16-point cushion, won the game 3-1, a convincing effort in the second, not in the first, a tale of completely two different halves, and Liverpool, as much as they struggled in the first, the second, they completely outclassed Southampton. It's going to be unfair on my part to be criticizing these players or being slightly overcritical of them, but I really feel that I need to talk about this. This isn't the first time that we've seen Liverpool struggling to gain onto some momentum because of our own mistakes, right? A couple of key decisions which can work in our favor. We get a bit too complacent with weaker opposition, especially in the first half. We dominate on the ball, we are knocking the ball around. We become a bit too cautious. The midfield starts applying the ball to the defense, right? Resorting to reverse passes, back passes. There was a moment when I felt in the first half that fans are going to give Darwin Nunez a lot of flack for the way he played, but honestly, I felt he did nothing wrong. The man's getting two bleak opportunities to take a shot at the goal, and that too, the pace on the ball was a bit too much for him to handle. One coming in from Mohammed Salah, which seemed like a little too high from him, right? And he wasn't able to control the ball in that situation. In fact, the decision to bring the ball down and to shoot it would have been a wrong one, right? That guy went for it, tried an overhead kick, and miserably failed at it, right? But I would have never blamed Darwin for that first half performance because the decisions being made by Diaz and Mohammed Salah were reckless. Absolutely reckless. And you can see these players are gassed. They look really tired, and one of the reasons why we have such a situation is, unlike other teams, we don't really have key replacements or key substitutes, right, that we can bring in instead of these maestros on the pitch. We just played against the PSG where the performance was subpar. In fact, it was below average. But we saw a replication of a similar kind where we were enjoying a lot of possession on the ball, but we weren't really getting anything out of it. There was no leverage of sorts, and the decision that the manager came down with, bringing on Harvey Elliott, Robertson, and McAllister, I didn't really understand Soberslai's dismissal. I think, again, the manager knows the game better for sure, but then I think he did save us on two occasions when Southampton got a whiff of the ball on the break, and Konate, I don't know why does he love existing on a high line when we need to be subduing the spaces, we need to be constricting the spaces. I think Konate, there's something up with him. Even the goal that we conceded, right? That was a massive blunder. And he is the root cause of the problem. If you see, the goal came in from the left flank, right? Their winger and Kamaldeen, I think. Yeah, Kamaldeen was lurking around Trent and Konate, and they were caught napping. They were a bit too high on the line. And you'd see a Van Dijk. Again, Van Dijk was there to disperse the situation, but then he misread it. He couldn't really understand the physics behind it, the velocity, the pace with which the opposition player was, getting onto him. Yeah, he thought Alisson could get onto it, but then Alisson, I don't know what did he do in that moment. I think Van Dijk should have just pushed the ball out for a cross, right? That's the most sane decision he could have made in that moment. But given the nerves, given the underperformers on the pitch, given the onus of captaincy, the leadership that he has been imbibed, right, by the manager, I think it all comes down to that. I think business end of the season, making the right decisions does lead to some sort of pressure on you. Barring that, I don't think there were any massive blunders by the players on the pitch. But again, Ryan Gravenberch, we need to talk about him as well. I think Gravenberch, since the very beginning, in fact, pre-Christmas, I think he was at the pinnacle of his form, right? He's not been really punching to the same level in 2025. And it's not just the game against PSG or this one. I think I've seen him gassed on a couple of occasions in the Premier League, in the Carabao Cup fixtures as well. And he does show up with his performances defensively, but then when it comes to attacking offensively, I think he lacks that rhythm at times. I think his movement on the ball is really good, but then in this game I felt in certain circumstances he was losing the ball to the midfield, to Smallbone, and we were getting hit on the break on a few bleak occasions, but that could have led to something more disastrous than what we already incurred, right? And I think it was sort of a self-destruction what we did in the first half, right? We could have avoided it completely. Reminds me of the goal, similar kind against Arsenal 2 seasons back, 22-23, where Van Dijk again could have cleared the ball, but then Allison stepped out of the box to clear it, and then we just completely lost control of the ball, right? And I think it was Odegaard who punched it in, or Martinelli. But it's just we do not want to be a victim of such circumstances, and we can easily avoid them. But yeah, talking about Nunez, man, I think Nunez was absolutely fantastic to watch. In the second half, I think he was making the right decisions. For the first in a long time, I think Luis Diaz got in behind Kyle Walker-Peters, right, and delivered a beautiful pass, a beautiful assist for Nunez to tap that in. Shrewd thinking in the moment, but Luis Diaz has been inconsistent for us too. I think people do not want to address the elephant in the room. I think Luis Diaz has been one of the players who have been really inconsistent, a bit choppy, a bit on the edge. A couple of decisions coming in from his end aren't the most mature at times when, and I'm not saying that he's not targeted. I think 2-3 defenders were usually pouncing on him in the first half. Liverpool were not moving the ball quick enough, and obviously Southampton were on a low block throughout the game. But in the second half, we sort of opened them up because of Harvey Elliott's inclusion. I think Harvey Elliott, what a game, what a baller. An absolute baller on the ball, man. He is an incredible acquisition that we've had, an incredible talent that we've had. And the only thing that I really think that can go missing for him is he needs to really prove it to the manager. And I think in the game against PSG, what an impact in tonight's game as well. What an impact. In fact, the 46th minute shot, which was taken from the right channel from Harvey Elliott, I think it was a brilliant shot altogether. I think that was the best shot we've had in the game so far. But yeah, I mean, Curtis Jones again losing the ball on a couple of occasions. Even Tsimikas, to be honest, I think he started the game on a really good note. He dispossessed Dibbling on a couple of occasions in the first 10 minutes, but then he started giving the ball away, right? And that sort of broke our momentum, right? Broke our tempo. Otherwise, I think Liverpool would have been quite comfortable in the first half too. In fact, I was infuriated, right? I almost had a heart attack. I was in disbelief that this is the performance that we've given without anyone really lurking behind us, right? I don't think I consider Arsenal to be in the title race anymore, to be honest. And we can comfortably win it. We can win it from here on, right? We have 9 fixtures left. I think if we win the next 6, I think it's done and dusted for us.